Having sharp tools is very important. I'm fair to middling on sharpening, but on the spoke shave, it's easy if you have a pair of vice grips. I use diamond stones, but there's all different types of stones. And this is a coarse one. I'm not sure what grit it is, maybe 400 or 320. But there's water stones and oil stones. This red one, diamond stone, these are DMTs, very well-known brand. This is a 600 stone. I don't usually go any finer. If I do make them finer, and they make them coarser, but they're DMTs. Just turn it over to take the burr off. The angle will work better. Just put little pencil marks where it's high.
Good night.
Where you going?
Have a good one.
Okay, the next thing is to sand it. I always do the deck and sand it down with the 2 or 3 different grits of paper, usually 3, and do the stern. Then I have to mark for the stations. That's it for tonight. All right, I'm gonna do the first sanding on the deck. This is a very stiff little plastic block, but you want something fairly stiff. This bench is awful wobbly, and my cellar is a lot better, but I'm doing this at the boat yard. I think I got all the marks out. This is 120 grit. This is a piece of 220. And I'll probably sand it a little finer paper after I'm all done, before I put the first coat on. The next thing I do is the stern. I don't know if I can do it with a spoke shaving out because it's end grain. Okay, that's all the sanding until after the rest is carved. We're gonna move over to the bench over there.
Okay.
That's just a little template of the stern. And they all say FS. It means all my measurements are from the stern. So this one is 7 7/8. 7 7/8. This one is 2 3/4. So This one is 10.5. It's way at the bow. And 5.25. Now, I made this little square up myself. It's just 2 little angle brackets you get at any hardware store. It just makes it easier, but you don't need it. You can use a little combination square. And I first glued it together many, many years ago, probably with some super glue just to hold it. And then I had some thin fiberglass cloth. And I got some epoxy, a little bit of epoxy at the hardware store. And I glued them together with epoxy resin and a little thin piece of cloth. If you don't have cloth, maybe just a couple of coats of epoxy resin will hold it. But I like the super glue just to hold it in place until I glue it.
How long has it lasted?
This is probably 30 years old.
Oh, cool.
So I just line it up on the water line. And it gives me the mark for the bottom.
Oh, okay.
But you can use a little combination square. It's just, I thought this was easier. I guess if I had some brass pieces, it would be a little fancier. I just put a mark on the bottom. I'll plane that mark off. I guess it's not even worth doing it because I have to take off 3/16 or so. And then I can put a little mark here, here, here. If you're off a 1/16 of an inch, no matter. No one's gonna ever know it, except you. Now when you put your templates up, you know, you always put the little, I have a little pencil mark there on all of them. That little pencil mark is the water line. So that little pencil mark always has to go on the water line. And then you just, you know, rock it back and forth to see where you want to take it. Further on, I'll show you, because I have to rough plane it first before I even worry about my templates.
For anybody who's interested in templates, we're not going to probably be able to do it with this series, but in a previous series, we have a thing on how to actually make the templates, and you can go back and check that.
I either make them from a set of plans. I was lucky enough to find a half model from a guy that had one, and I made templates from that. But you can do it from a set of plans. It takes a little while. If you understand a set of plans, it can be a little bit of a pain to do it, but I was lucky enough I had some people help me do it the first time, and then I just figured it out from there. So the next thing I gotta do is do some rough planing. And maybe I can do